reform seeking to make poorer the people paid the least? Or is it the case that these regular rises in national minimum wage, whilst very good for the people that are on national minimum wage, have nevertheless stopped you from hiring? It's become too expensive to hire more people or even actually offer more shifts in the pub or in the cafe or in the shop. Do you agree with reform, with Nigel Farage, that the minimum wage is too high? Archie Manners is an influencer and, importantly, consultant to the Reform UK supporting think tank, the Centre for a Better Britain. Thank you very much indeed for coming on the programme, Archie. Good to see you. Do you think that the national minimum wage is too high?
Sorry, I didn't catch that question. Do I think the national minimum wage is too high? Was that it?
Yes.
I can't. It's very difficult to give an exact answer to that question. It's going back to your kind of introduction. At no point did Nigel Farage or Richard Tice say they were going to abolish the national minimum wage. What he's saying is, look, we want people on a national minimum wage. We're going to reduce the NIC so it's £5,000. That will level up how much actually goes into the pockets of people. But you can have a minimum wage of £100 an hour, but nobody will earn it if you take that argument to the extremity. So it's about having a minimum wage, particularly for young people, that gets them into work, that allows them to contribute to society, but also ensures that people can hire and that businesses can run. And if you don't do that, you'll end up with none of them having jobs. And sometimes those second-order consequences are the actions and the considerations of a responsible party and a government in waiting.
So what is the evidence to suggest that this rise in the national minimum wage has stopped people from getting those jobs?
I think it's more the sense that people aren't getting jobs. You look at entirety of industries, hospitality, the rates at which pubs are closing, and this is all connected to other parts of the economy that we're wanting to fix. But you're seeing it out and about every day, that the level of joblessness is getting higher. The number of people claiming benefits is at an all-time high. We know that people are not in work that could be. We know that there aren't jobs around, and part of that is because we are often paying what we shouldn't be or we're not able to afford to be.
Pubs are struggling for a number of reasons: business rates, alcohol duty, national insurance increases on employer national insurance. Where's the evidence that the national minimum wage itself is having a negative effect on being able to employ people? Well, is that part of the thing that Nigel Farage is angry about?
Well, you'd have to speak to Nigel. I mean, I know, Tom, you're a huge fan of the pub, as am I, and I'd like to do everything I can to support pubs. Indeed, this evening I shall be making a major contribution to a couple of pubs in Westminster. But I think it's simple math, isn't it? If you make the minimum wage £100, that means a pint is going to be £80. That means no one's going to buy it. The thing goes bust. I mean, it's just on a graph. Now, whether you've got specific evidence on that or not, I don't know. But the higher the cost of the minimum wage, the higher the cost of your labour bill, the higher the cost of your pints, the fewer people able to buy the pints. It all connects and ends up screwing, essentially, the people that you think you're being kind to.
Who's going to do the job of pulling the pint that you are going to pay for this evening, Archie, if they're not paid a wage that they could even remotely live on?
Right, so now this is, again, the way in which economics always connects. It's not actually about the figure you're paying them. It's about what they're able to buy with that figure. So at the same time, Nigel and the rest of the economic team in Reform UK will be looking at things like cost of living and ensuring that that pound can go further so that you can live on it. It is arbitrary just to look at a random number. You have to look at that at one half, then look at the proposed changes to national insurance, which will reduce how much people are paying in tax anyway, albeit not on an income tax level, and then look at what they can buy with that money. So I think that's the way forward.
So the national minimum wage is too high currently on the basis that there are some people who can't be hired because the cost of hiring them is too much for that particular business. But the £10 an hour is not going to be able to get them very far in an economy that is as inflationary as this one has been.
Well, quite, because I think the economy has been mismanaged for many, many years. And I don't think anybody listened to Rachel Reeves's, to call it a speech is generous. Rachel Reeves's warbling this morning is going to be particularly reassured that the budget's going to do anything for any of those people.
So I guess the question then is which comes, or who should come first? Should it be the person who wants to pull the pint or, is looking for a job to pull pints and needs to be paid a wage that they can live on, or the business who say, actually, I'm not sure we can afford to pay £10 an hour, £12 an hour if you're over 21, so that needs to be reduced? Because that's the tussle, isn't it?
Of course it is, and that's the dilemma, and that's called economics. And a responsible government will set the conditions, ideally, to have both. And that, I think, is what we're aspiring to. And, we are still a long way out from a general election, but at the moment we've got a government that is doing neither. Nobody is winning. Neither the people pulling the pints on £10 an hour who can't afford to do anything enjoyable, particularly in major cities, nor the businesses who can't employ the people because they have to pay £10 an hour. So it's about making an attempt to please both of those two groups at the same time.
Appreciate your time on the programme. Archie Manners is an influencer and consultant to the Reform UK supporting think tank, the Centre for a Better Britain.